So I'm going to do an I Ching reading with this deck of cards that I've created the artwork for. I worked on this card deck for many years. So I started with the birth of my first child, who's now 10. Probably when she was like 18 months old, I started working on the pencil drawings. Um, and then it took about a year to get those worked through. And then I did the colors for about a year. Then I spent another 2 years or more working on the notes that are on the back of these cards. I've also created reference points for all the relationships of polarity. So there's the nuclear, the overturn, the opposite, and the reverse of each hexagram printed on the back so you can easily find and compare what that change means in relationship to each of those things. Maybe I will do a series at some point, a playlist that kind of looks at those for each of the hexagrams. Seems like a lot of work, but studying, just general study of the I Ching brings a lot of insight to this work, to just the overall sense of understanding of the universe and how it operates. I think polarities in general, like when we are exploring them as a matrix rather than as a all this or all that, but rather like a spectrum that has multiple dimensions. It just brings so much wisdom, so much deep truth into our way of looking at the world. Okay, so first I'm gonna just spread these out like this. Oh, I was hoping they would be in the view. I'm gonna try it again just for fun. Playing out with this new setup, I moved my daughter into my old office, so I had two girls sharing the room. And now I have them individually in their own rooms. So magnetically, I feel drawn to this card right here. Oh my goodness. This is hexagram 31, feelings. Strong attractions are at work. Courting is favorable now, but acting on arousal alone is bound to be misguided. Breathe and open your mind to receive wisdom before you move forward. The courting in reference may be in pursuit of a physical union or a spiritual union between the divine feminine and masculine within the self. This one has earth beneath water. So it's like a lake on a mountaintop. And it has a lot, this hexagram has a lot of association with attraction and feeling attracted magnetically towards things. And it's called feelings. So there's a lot about trusting one's feelings or not trusting one's feelings, like knowing when it's just a feeling, so to speak. So that's our first hexagram in this reading. Let's draw another one. If you like, you can take your situation that you're working within and just sort of sit with the idea of earth and water and how those might relate to you in this moment. Spread card. This one. Holy cow. We have 44 encounters. A tumultuous encounter between forces both primitive and divine. You may be feeling strongly attracted to an idea that is not helpful. When one's thinking begins twisting the truth, destruction is inevitable. Amidst the rubble, search yourself, find a creative strength that can only emerge when you tear down walls. Face your shadows and address them. Okay, so there's something really interesting that's relating to these two particular hexagrams. And that's that this one is the nuclear of this one. We were just talking a little bit about these matrices of polarity and whatnot. So these are connected regardless of this reading, which I think is super crazy and wild that we pulled the nuclear for the one that we have here. What we have on this one is air beneath heaven. And let's see where our changing lines are here. So we have line 2 changing and line 6 changing. Line 2 and 6, which puts us right here in the feelings as our present place. If we think about just those elemental transitions that are happening. So in the lower, we have the earth transforming into air. And you can just think about how air carves away at the earth. It kind of breaks it down. There's an erosion process through the wind sweeping through parts of the earth there. But we also have, if you think in the I Ching, air can also be a tree or wood. So think of like the trees as they grow up through the earth, the roots kind of carve away into, completely immerse into that earth and soak it up in a way in order to grow the tall tree. And with water transforming into heaven, we have this sort of, the water is the emotional element, the feeling element. And those emotions are transforming into something really substantial and powerful with that creative energy of heaven. And so that's an interesting meditation to have maybe while I'm looking up these lines 2 and 6. Plus 31, right? Okay. Some other names for hexagram 31 are initiative, influence, wooing, attraction, sensation, sensitivity, affection, influencing action, tension, seeking union, persuasion, courting. These are all ideas, ways that this title, the Chinese name of this hexagram have been translated by people who do that. I don't read Chinese, so I like to find as many translations as I can to inform me. The advice to the superior person here is the superior man frees his mind of preoccupation so that he is open to the influence of others. The superior man encourages people to approach him by his willingness to receive him. Shows himself to be entirely void of selfishness. With a humble manner, the superior man receives people. A Junzi uses emptiness to acquiesce people. There is this recurring idea. Everyone seems to have this sort of agreeability in their translations of this advice, of reception, approach and reception, of opening yourself to others, being not cut off, but completely open and responsive to feeling or the feeling of attraction. Yeah, receiving people, receiving those. I have a feeling that this person this is for has a magnetism to them, a magnetic quality. They've probably carried with them their entire lives of people just come to them. People are attracted to them. And that they are really, if they're in their best self, their highest self, in the way that people, in accepting this fact about themselves, if they are able to do that in the manner of the superior person, their superior selves, then they become open and receptive to that. It doesn't mean everyone who is receiving this reading right now and taking it in is feeling their higher selves, but the advice is that you become accepting of this magnetism that you carry and that you open yourself up to people, which I think is, depending on who you are, could be a hard thing, or maybe it comes naturally to you. I'm not sure. That's the advice to the superior individual. Let's read line 2. So line 2 could be a past line. It could also be just an earlier piece of development in this overall situation or change that you're feeling right in this moment. It says, a feeling in the calves of the legs. Stillness invites good fortune. Sensing in the calf is inauspicious. Biting is auspicious. Okay, so there seems to be this idea that you feel this movement in your legs, or this sensation, this stimulation in the calves of the legs, which is where we walk, right? The things we stand on. And that the most of us the most beneficial way to act on that feeling is to wait, to let it feel a little restless, but not to move just yet, to stay. There's a teaching to just maybe control impulsiveness, or that immediate response. You have the restlessness, you want to keep going, you want to keep moving. And the advice for line 2 is wait. Bear that discomfort for a little bit. It's not quite time. I'm going to look at one more source on line 2 just to see if there's some more input here. Do not get swept off your feet by this powerful influx. A hasty move will be nothing but trouble. Stay right where you are. Soon you will have what you want. You are surrounded by omens of rebirth and beauty. Act through the receptive, not the aggressive. Okay. I get a sense that you're in this place of kind of bringing together the parts of your soul into some sort of union. There's the note on here of finding or pursuing the spiritual union between the divine, feminine, and masculine within the self. And that in your personal development right now, there is not a complete union. There is a disparity. And so the stillness, that the moving, the restlessness, the moving, to feeling that in your legs and always feeling compelled to keep moving is part of what's keeping you desperate, separated in this way. And that you, in order to find union and find that work of uniting that part of your soul, those parts of your soul, you need that stillness. You need to stay for a minute and just feel the discomfort, feel through it, let it move, let it keep moving. It's gonna keep moving. It's not gonna stick with you. That discomfort is temporary growing pain. And you will be able to find the union through sitting in stillness with it for now. Let's read line 6. It was line 6 that was changing, right? Yes. Okay. The 6th line, magnetic, shows one moving her jaws and tongue. Sensation in the jaws and the tongue, stimulation in the jaws. Okay. There is kind of the vibe of all talk and no. Yeah, that idea of being all talk, right? That maybe there's a lot of talking about the things that you wish or desire or want in the world, and you're having a really hard time executing and living up to those ideas that are being expressed not superficially, but very, intellectually. And they're not real yet. They're not concrete. They're not solidifying. That's kind of the vibe I get from this. You have a feeling of you are being compelled in a way to speak passionately, to really speak truth or speak out about ideas that are igniting you, inspiring you. And you may be compelled to feel shame that you aren't acting on these words yet. And I want to say that is not the right feeling. That is not something you should lean too far into. It's okay that you're speaking passionately, that you're feeling these things genuinely, and they're coming forth without action right now. It's actually not a sign of inauthenticity in you. It's a sign of timing, that it's not yet the right time to act on those ideas. And maybe even to be careful about moving forward too quickly, or yeah, there is a potential pitfall in moving forward too quickly on those ideas. That is what I'm seeing from this idea, from this line here. I'm going to look a little bit more, and then I'll move on to the future. It's future/nuclear hexagram. I didn't explain what nuclear meant here, but you generate it's sort of like it's considered like a root or hidden hexagram inside this. Like if you take 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it's hard to show right here, but it's nested within, which is interesting that in this particular reading, it's both nested within this one as well as the future, which I think is going to make it a little more important to look at closely, to get insight fully into this reading here. I'm going to look at just a few more things. It's important in this time right now to strip away old ideas and patterns and accept the hard work. You are making some really important internal changes, and you're feeling restless while you do it, right? It's feeling like you're being a little too still. And yeah, I just accept the hard work take it with some grace. Just do the work of staying where you are right now. Um, it's going to feel really hard, but it's really important. There's a lot of creative energy and ideas coming into you. Um, and you're feeling really tempted to be triggered into action, right? Uh, and there will be a time to act. I'm not saying don't ever act. I think that's part of your struggle and your journey right now is it's been ongoing and it feels really painful, but it's going to be the time to act soon. You are in this stability and in this stillness, this not moving moment right now. Um, you're inspiring a community of sorts. There is a communal energy kind of flowing through you. And yeah, I don't know how to express what I'm saying. Mm. You're empowering others to build in this community. It's just by your presence, I guess. And that's your part of your work right now too. Let's look at 44. I've been here too long. I feel like I'm just sort of what was meant to come through has come through. Hopefully it means something to you. This hexagram 44 has been a bit of a fraught with peril hexagram for me. I've found a lot of misogyny in this hexagram in the way that the traditional text reads, and I'm not going to try to go into that for this reading, but you might see me getting stuck on it as I try to decide what I do want to share. The ruler issues directives, announcing them to the four corners. This makes me think immediately of this idea of there being some parts that need to be brought together within the soul that are feeling disconnected. Um, and so, yeah, it just feels like these things are at least talking on the same wavelength about that. Well, it just jumped right back a page while I was trying to read it. Okay. A superior man formulates his code of conduct and abides by it. Do not unite with an inferior element in your situation. So there's words here in this one about, I'm going to go into misogyny. I'm always trying to understand it. This one broken line at the bottom, right? Sometimes she's called an adulteress. It's said that she seduced these six strong lines to herself, seduced them. And sometimes that's that idea of temptation, which really does, it makes sense that this one is nested in this one because trusting your feelings or not trusting your feelings and that idea of this attraction and temptation are pretty intimately, they are parts of a spectrum, right? That bring us overall understanding. And sometimes this attraction, the seduction of hexagram 44. I'm sorry, I have a noisy. Hope that's not coming through. It probably is. It's a fated chaos. That's why there's a tornado here in my drawing. There's a fated chaos meant to be here. That seduction is natural and does break things apart in a way, but paves a new path for something more true and strong to grow in its wake. That's kind of the message I get from 44. There's not much. I'm going to go read over here for a minute too. 44 is sometimes associated with the image of a woman giving birth or a royal bride who is carrying an heir, the heir for the kingdom. Don't try to enforce your will. These encounters, which is the title here, reflect universal forces. Let them change you. Great things are moving in these events, spreading the spirit through the world. They bring unexpected encounters, lucky coincidences, and enjoyable happenings. Don't try to hold on to them as they come and go. When heaven and earth meet, or that divine feminine and masculine, or trying to unify, all the beings will join in a brief and radiant display. The time of welcoming and coupling is truly great. Open yourself and welcome what comes. So, this mothering change text is very different from maybe some of the more traditional translations, which speak of this hen who crows at dawn and a woman out of her place who is seducing, right? Or an adulteress. And this other way of looking at it is that there is this yeah, this unexpected lucky coincidence that allows the joining to happen. And if we're not open to some unexpected encounters, to just kind of flowing with some things that then we potentially miss opportunities. And so maybe that's part of your future, and that advice to be open to people is about yeah, welcoming a little bit of chaos potentially, for the sake of finding that way of unifying. I'm not sure. I'm a little perplexed, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, that's what I have for today.